Hello everyone, welcome back, and in this video I'm going to be covering the 9 Solutions Lab procedure. In a previous video I went over the pre-lab, what's expected for the pre-lab. In this video I'm just going to go over the procedure, and in another video I'm going to just go over important things that you want to keep in mind that is kind of related to the procedure. Okay, so first thing you're going to get is you're going to get a well plate. So you need to go well plate from the stock room. Looks like this. You're going to get a cotton swab. Looks like that. Okay. You're also going to get 10 micro test tubes. I don't have a micro test tube right now, but it'll be a test tube like that, but it's going to be smaller. Okay. So I'm going to use this now for demonstration, but I mean they look the same. They're just smaller, hence the name micro. Okay, so also you're going to need a waste beaker. So a properly sized waste beaker. You're going to be using a lot of fluid. Maybe a 150 milliliter beaker might be enough, and that's really all you're going to need. So in this lab, it's called the 9 Solutions Lab. If you've had 108, Chem 108, then you should be very familiar with this lab, because in 108 you did the 7 Solutions Lab. This is really no different, except for now it's 9 solutions, and it's going to be a little bit more complicated. So what's going on in this lab? So there are 2 parts to this lab. Each part is going to be done in each day. So there's a 2-day lab. The first day you're going to be doing, you're going to be mixing 9 solutions together in various combinations and observing whether or not you get a reaction and what's going to happen. So you're using your observation, your skills, skills of observation to detect any reactions going on. Okay. And then day 2, you're doing the exact same thing, except now you're going to have 9 unknowns. So the 9 substances you're working with in the first day are going to be the same substances you're working on the second day. However, you're not going to know which one is which. They're going to be labeled like 1 through 9 or A through J or whatever. I think it's like 1 through 9. So you're going to get all of the substances, but they're going to be labeled differently. So you're going to have labeled substance number 1, and you got to figure out, well, what is substance number 1? It's got to be one of the substances that you worked with in the first day of lab. So I'm going to go over the procedure, and then that'll be it for this lab or this video. So for part 1, again, part 1 is going to be where you're working with the knowns. So you're going to know exactly what the substances are. The substances are going to come in bottles, right, labeled with the substance on them. So those are the substances. I'll show you what the substances are in a moment in my table, in a table that I made. So you're going to get 8 micro test tubes from the stock room. They're going to give you a well plate too. First thing you want to do is you want to clean the test tubes with detergent and use your cotton swab as a brush. So you're going to get your micro test tube. You're going to put detergent in there, and you're going to use your swab, and you're going to brush the sides. You're going to get it. Excuse me, that was close. You're going to clean the inside of your test tubes really well, and then you're going to rinse them off. So rinse them out with DI water, not sink water, right? So whenever you're using water for reactions, you always want to use DI water. If you're rinsing things out that you're going to use to mix chemicals together, you don't want to use sink water, you don't want to use tap water, you want to use DI water. Okay, so there's a special DI water sink in the lab, so make sure you go there, and then fill your water bottle up with DI water, and so you have a water bottle with DI water that you can use at your lab station. So you're going to rinse your micro test tubes out with the eye water after washing them. And then you're going to use your well plate as a stand. You're not putting anything in the well plate. I know if you've had experience with well plates, a lot of times you'll put the chemicals directly in the well plate and you'll mix them and you'll see a reaction. We're not going to do that. So the well plate is there to as kind of a miniature test tube holder. So again, you're going to put your test tube in the well plate. Again, this is a bigger test tube, but just to give you an idea, so the well plate is going to hold up your micro test tubes, okay? And you're going to have eight of your micro test tubes. All right, so in each of your 8 test tubes, you're going to put 3 to 5 drops of your first solution. And in the pre-lab or the lab before, in the video before this one, your instructor, myself, told you what the order should be because you need to have your table set up before coming into lab, right? So you should already have that set up. But just to give you an idea, I'll show you mine in a moment. So you're going to put 3 to 5 drops of the first solution into each of the test tube. And I've told you in the previous lecture or in the previous video what that should be, what your first substance is going to be. And I'll go over that again. Okay, so then what you're going to do, once you've filled 3 to 5 drops of solution into each of your 8 test tubes, right? You're going to have the same solution in all 8 test tubes. Then what you're going to do is to the first test tube, you're going to put in the second solution, right? And see if there's a reaction, okay? And then you're going to put the third solution into the third test tube and the fourth solution and so on. So let me show you what I mean by that. Where's my, okay, here it is. So, so you can see my makeshift table here. All right, so let me get this right. Okay, so what you can see, let me do it this way. Oops. Here, let me bring this down. All right, so here's the table here, right? So what you could see is, so this would be my first solution right here. So that's my silver nitrate. So I would put my silver nitrate into every test tube first. And so what I would then do is then I would move across the top here and I would put this substance into the first test tube. So the silver nitrate will react with the aluminum nitrate, right? And then, or I don't know if it's going to react, but I would put that substance in and make an observation to see if there's going to be a reaction. And then the next test tube, I'm going to put in barium chloride, and then I'm going to look to see what reaction happens. And then I'm going to write that down into this square here. So if I want to know what square I'm putting my observations in, I go down, and then this one goes across. Okay, so this square that meets them together, that meets the row and the column where they meet, that's going to be where I'm going to write my observation for those two. So remember, all my test tubes in this run has silver nitrate. So then the first test tube, I'm going to add my aluminum nitrate, and I'm going to see if there's a reaction. And then the next one is I'm going to put barium chloride in there. I'm going to see if there's a reaction. And then I'm going to put in my next test tube hydrogen chloride. And then in my next test tube potassium, I can't see that. That's going to be chlorate, potassium chlorate. And then in the next one I'm going to put this substance, and so far. And so I'm going to go down the line putting in these substances that are written on top. So then when I'm done with those reactions, right, those mixtures, what I'm then going to do is I'm going to then dump all of that, all of the mixtures that have reacted, and I'm going to put them in my waste beaker. So I'm going to dump everything in my waste beaker. I'm going to rinse them out again, clean them out, dump, whatever in my waste beaker. And then once I've got that done, then I'm going to fill them up again. So you can see here, so once you do that again, you're going to clean the test tubes out, and then make sure that they rinse them out with DI water, make sure they're ready for the next set of experiments. And then what you're going to do is then you're going to fill all the test tubes up with the next substance. And so if I show you my table again really quickly. Sorry about all the motion. So what you can see here, so now that I've done all the mixtures on top for the silver nitrate, I've done that. I cleaned out my test tubes. I rinsed them out. Now I'm going to go to the next one. Now I'm going to fill all of them up with the aluminum nitrate. Okay, so I filled them up with the aluminum nitrate, and now I am going to then go move across the row. I'm going to move across the row, and as I'm moving across the row, I'm adding barium chloride, and I'm going to see how that reacts. And then I'm going to add hydrochloric acid, see how that reacts. I'm going to add the potassium chlorate, and then sodium carbonate, and so on. And I'm going to work my way across. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to rinse out the test tubes. I'm going to clean them out, rinse them out with DI water, and then I'm going to add barium chloride. And so each time I move down this ladder here, down this side, I have fewer reactions that I need to make because I've already made reactions with these guys here. So that's the way that you want to work on your reactions. Okay. So you're going to do the first test tube. You're going to add 3 or 5 drops. When you're doing a particular reaction, this is the way you should be doing it. So you already have 3 to 5 drops of whatever solution you have in the test tube, and then you're going to take whatever other substance that you need to work on. So if you're looking at a particular reaction between 2 substances, you're going to take that other substance and add 3 to 5 drops of that second substance and add it to your test tube, and then you're going to observe a reaction, or hopefully observe a reaction. You might not observe a reaction. So that when you add the 3 to 5 drops of your second solution, you want to mix them well. So mix them well means you might want to tap the bottom of your test tube to get it to mix, right? So you can tap, 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 and get it to mix, right? And that's going to mix it really well. And then observe. So tap and observe, see if there's a reaction. And then you're going to do that with the other reactions as well. I will continue this in the next video.